Hey, my lovies, locking down the truth with Marci Lock. We got Gavin the Great. I don't know if you can see him. Hang on. Gavin the Great. He's rocking his YouTube channel stuff, and we're actually crossing. I'm not even sure which. I think we're going by the Hudson River now. So we just got picked up. We are on our way to go be with one of my personal clients, aka family, the amazing Alon Ferdman, and actually tonight to go celebrate Papa Ferdman's birthday. And then get to do a one-on-one day, not just one-on-one technically with me and Alon, but one-on-one family day, which is awesome. So getting to actually dive into, how the whole family can evolve and continue to grow, and which I know he and Fanny are so committed to, and they're amazing individuals. I'm excited for Gavin to get to hang with the kids, me to get to hang with the kids, and vice versa. So Gavin and I got a one-on-one day today together we went and saw the what is it called, baby? The Natural History Museum. So we saw Night of the Museum, that place. Yes, we got some epic pictures with the dum-dum dude, the big, huge thing that was Gavin's number one priority. And this is just what I wanted to share, what kind of an influence are you? And this is beautiful, even getting to go out and see Alon, obviously him and his family choosing to be such an influence on the people that they encounter and an influence on their kids. And Gavin and I were really noticing influences today. What kind of an influence are you just by being who you be? And it was interesting that when we got picked up this morning by our Uber driver to take us over to the museum, of course we attracted this beautiful, amazing man who he starts telling me how, first thing he says is, "Isn't it a beautiful day?" And it's the only rainy day. We've had like gorgeous weather the whole time we've been here, and it's the only rainy, cloudy day. And he's like, "Isn't it a beautiful day?" He's like, "What a beautiful life. Life is so beautiful." And he proceeds to tell me about we just kind of got started with Gavin's YouTube channel, and how he's like, yes, it's like there's so many ways to share messages now. And here he's being an Uber driver. He also has a couple other jobs on the side, or businesses on the side, of sharing his spiritual truths. And he and I get into this conversation where he tells me, first off, how people just don't understand what life is really about, and life is really about oneness and unity and coming back to love, and all things are love. And I'm just like, locking down the truth here with this Uber driver. Of course, we only attract the most amazing, beautiful light beings. And what else did he tell me? He was sharing. We were just talking about these truths of creating space. He was telling me how he's like, I'm so blessed. I'm so lucky. Again, these are his perceptions that he's choosing to live in. And he tells me about how this big professional PhD doctor had known him and ended up couldn't doing his talk. And he called him and he said, "Hey, can you go speak on my behalf at this event to these people about spirituality and oneness?" And he ended up going and speaking for 500 people for his very first time of speaking. And he's like, they just, I'm not an educated person, but they just stumbled on, he just stumbled on me, and we became friends, and he let me share these truths. And just seeing his perceptions of life, of being that, this is how that's what we're here for, is just to continue to share in oneness and share in love and evolve. And we got some beautiful conversation all the way to the space, and got to create some ways to support and him and some connections. He's like, I'm going to be going out to San Diego and to California, and he had some connections for me. And it's just like, how amazing is it that there's someone who's choosing in whatever they're doing, perceiving life in such this beautiful way, and all that is available. And then as Gavin and I get into the museum, and we're running around to see all the things that we get to see before we're getting picked up by our driver tonight to take off to go meet Alon and his family. And we decided to go see the show. What was it called, babes? Dark Side of the Universe? Dark Side of the Universe, I think it was. In the huge stadium theater where you're looking up and seeing all this of the cosmos. And which just reminded me of how grand we are and how small we are at the same time. So it was called, Dark Universe. So not Dark Side of the Universe, but Dark Universe, which I love this idea because, and this ties into influence, and as they went through the details of what I call the multiverse, and some would call the universe, talking about the dark energy made up 70% of our multiverse that we can see. And another 25% was dark matter, the matter that actually connects in the different galaxies together. And only 5% only 5% is what is our material matter. And this just goes to show how much space is around us, as above, so below, as how much space is above us, so inside ourselves. And what I wanted to bring it back to, is I found was interesting, is this gentleman, this Uber driver that was telling me about, he got asked to come out at this other thing and speak. And he said, I found myself feeling very much like they didn't have room in their hearts and their minds for me. And I had to say to them, share some of these things with them, that you have to open up the space to receive more love, more joy, more pleasure. And I'm like, beautiful, beautiful truths that a lot of times we're so cluttered up by, what we're perceiving in the negativity and what we're seeing here in the world, that there's no space for more love and light. And we actually get to heal those things. And he and I were talking about healing those things that were taking up space and taking up your energy and taking up, all that's in you, that there's no room for more love and light until you heal those things. And that's why we get to heal those things, feel those things, heal those things, to actually allow the release of those things and open up more space, opening up beyond our comfort zones and more love, light, and joy. So now back to Gab and I go into this movie, right? And there's a lady in there, so they kind of hurdle us in, and we're standing in this big space, like not really sure what's going on. Like there's these little TVs, and we're kind of like, is this the theater? Are we supposed to stand here? Are they going to start a movie? What's going on? And we're just kind of waiting, and they keep hurdling more and more people, and we're like really jam-packed in the space. And what looks like these doors, what we're waiting for to open to go into the theater, and this lady near us begins to just complain super loudly. What is this? What's going on? There's not enough. This is ridiculous. There's not enough room in here. And then her kids, of course, are like, her little kids they starting to scream and do these things. And she's like, be quiet. You're not supposed to scream, blah, blah, blah. And I just found it interesting. Gavin kept noticing and just watching. And I was like, isn't it interesting? Like how we can choose our experience, we can choose our perceptions. And I'm like, look at how I'm choosing to go, oh, cool, you know what? It is what it is. We're waiting in line. How can we enjoy this space? We look up and we're watching the little TVs that are giving some educational understanding about the cosmos and the universe. And I'm like, I'm finding this fascinating, just getting, to look at this. And people are just enjoying their conversations, and yet there's this other energy that is like shouting out, complaining, blaming. This is ridiculous. What kind of system is this? Da, 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 da. And they're like, people, please move in as closely as you can. And she's like, there's no room. And Gavin and I were just looking at each other and found it so interesting. Again, and we got to talk about how you can never project or choose to judge, because then you're doing the exact same thing. I said, just isn't it interesting to notice you become your environment. Look at how her kids are acting, how she chooses to shout out and complain. Her kids are whining and screaming, and she's telling them they shouldn't do that, but yet she's doing that, and she's the example of that. And in that environment, that experience, here there's this thing, I'm like, you could choose to just leave. If you're like, I don't enjoy this, I could choose to just leave. And you find that's kind of like sometimes like haters that come to your page and want to pick it what's going on. And so just like, if you don't enjoy it, just leave. If you're not enjoying the experience you're in, just choose something different. And instead of being this projection of negative energy. And so Gavin's like, let's slide over here. Let's move over to a space where we can just, choose to focus on other energy and focus on what we want and focus on the creation we want. And that's what really showed up as realizing that no matter where you be, you are an influence. You are projecting something out. So just like I felt so blessed and so honored and so appreciative of how, again, like attracts like, how this morning we had this beautiful, now we have this amazing driver. Tell us your name again. Shahid. Shahid is driving us all the way to, where are we going? New City. Even the bad guys were like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. My assistant set up the driver. He knows where we're going. It's like 45 minutes away. I'm so supported. Yet for us to receive these beautiful, amazing drivers who are friendly and supportive and totally taking care of us, and the one this morning that had just such a beautiful message for us, I'm like, he was a beautiful reminder for me of how, everything is just love, and how we, no matter what, rainy day or not, we get to be, we get to see the greatness in it. And like, I love rainy days because, they're just cleaning everything. It's like every day is an awesome day. And so coming back to what kind of an influence are you putting out? Are you a negative Nancy? Are you, I don't know, Happy Hal? I'm trying to think of names that come out. And just choosing to be, are you someone who's on the happy channel and vibrating that frequency out to other people? Because we talk about, obviously, whatever you're vibrating out is what you're receiving back. That's why we get to, choose in each moment to be like in this experience, in this right now, in this circumstance, what would I want to create? What would that look like? How would whether that means I change my own perception, I change the own words and thoughts that are coming out of and how I feel about this. And yet some people will be like, well, if it's not this, then it's not that. And it's that either or game. It's these stories that create the struggle for us. And yet I just want you to hear that how you're choosing to respond or who you're choosing to be is influencing everyone around you. And it's influencing what then comes into your life and your space. So we found it interesting, right, Gavin? As to what, looking at the different, how people choose to be an influence, and no matter what they're doing and how it affects the entire, that one negative woman in that room yelling out had everyone turning and just feeling uncomfortable, and instead of, being a space for love and light and joy. So think about that. When you want to take full responsibility of what you're receiving, look at what energy are you being, what influence are you being, and how are you affecting those around you, and know that you always have the power of choice to choose to be whatever influence you want. Any other truths you want to lock down, Gavin the Great?
Subscribe to my
Oh my gosh, yes, that's fun too, because Gavin's always sharing some awesome truths on there. So we're excited to see what fun we get to create with Alon and his fam, and we just want to remind you guys that you are such an amazing, beautiful, bright light. The energy of you is so sacred. What is more sacred than the investment in your own life experience and the people that you choose to be around and what you choose to focus on and what you choose to create? That is truly the greatest investment you could ever make, is the investment in yourself and how that affects everything else. So we love you guys. Power choice is yours. Choose your best life. Go lock it down.